The Arizona Cardinals organization has earned the confidence people have in them going into 2025. Sit or start for the preseason, explained. And Kelvin Beachum explains exactly why having the right veterans on a roster can mean all the world of difference. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 15 years in sports media, 10th year, 9th season hosting this show. And it's getting better and better. Maybe not the content, but for me, I'm enjoying it more and more. The content, you're on your own with that one, baby. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. If you haven't checked out the Cardinals Squad Show, we did that last night with Jamil Douglas, myself, and Ben Garcia. Talked about a wide range of topics. It's more long form. It's about an hour. We do it live. Check it out. It's got its own channel, or it's got its own playlist on the Locked On Cardinals podcast YouTube channel. So there's a couple things I want to talk about today. Kelvin Beachum had a great quote that I will paraphrase and I will expound upon in the final segment. This was me paying off the tease from yesterday's show in the last segment. Should the Cardinals sit or start their players in the preseason? But that got moved to the second segment because I had a brief conversation with someone who follows me on Twitter, Chris Imes, earlier today, and going into last night. It was last night, and it's a very, very good time to have a conversation like this. Okay, so this is kind of the course of what happened. I tweeted out last night, the only male professional sports organization in the state of Arizona that's trending upward is the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, the Suns are a mess. The Diamondbacks are a mess. And I said male because the Phoenix Mercury have won multiple championships. Okay, so I just had to give them their flowers, and then we moved back onto the Cardinals. And what Chris, let me give him his Twitter. And I told him I'd give him a producer credit at CHRIMES21 on Twitter. Said, quote, the Cardinals are only trending upwards because of the standard smoke-blowing media BS that the AZ media and ex-analysts do every year where they decide the Cardinals are contenders without any basis in reality or factual reasoning. But hey, they've got a feeling, right? Now, this is not going to be a slam fest for an entire segment, not even close. I want to add context as to why me specifically, I don't know about the other outlets. I know that they are, a lot of outlets are a lot more positive because it's easier for viewers and listeners to hear that as opposed to what's actually going on. What do I say? Ed Romero, what do I say? I treat people like adults here. We have conversations. Okay, so in my cold open, I said, the Arizona Cardinals have earned the right for people to be confident in them going into 2025. What do I mean? No, not forever. Not since the beginning of time. They've earned it. No. When I say the Arizona Cardinals, I could have very well just said Monti Ossenfort down. And, give Michael Bidwell his credit. Since the end of the 2022 season, he's done everything he said he was going to do. So what's different now is that, first, the Cardinals have done things the right way, not just compared to years past, but in a vacuum in and of itself. You take a bad roster, pretty much flip the entire thing. Less than 50% were retained at the end of the 2022 season. And you slowly and incrementally rebuild the roster. Everything from pouring the bedrock to scaffolding all the way up to building the building. Okay? So, 2023, kind of clunky. No Kyler Murray. Not a real roster. Slowly starting to build. 2024, healthy Kyler Murray. Marv. New pieces. No pass rush. Not a real substantiated CB room outside of Garrett Williams and, a light Max Melton, Starling Thomas. A good offensive line. Still James Conner. but no real wide receiver 2 or, pass catcher 3. Kind of clunky. Kyler didn't play well down the stretch. Another offseason. Dalvin, Calais, Josh Sweat, re-up Baron Browning, re-up Budda Baker, and James Conner, and Trey McBride. Marv putting on weight. Darius putting on weight. Things looking different. Good draft. Walter Nolan, Will Johnson. I know the argument can still be made because I've made it against myself. We haven't seen it yet. Okay? The offense. 2 days ago, kicked off the show. The first segment was, they're running it back. It's either going to work or it ain't. It's either going to work, and we're talking contract extensions, or it won't, and Kyler's gone. Okay? It's very cut and dry. What that looks like in the numbers, obviously, is a lot more muddy, a lot more gray, a lot more skewed than just one or the other. But that's the overarching theme going into the season for the offense. For the team as a whole, I know the rookies haven't played it down yet. I know Darius Robinson's played 2 snaps in his NFL career. I know BJ Ojolari's played less than that in 2 years. In the last 2 years. I know all of that. And I know that Dalvin Tomlinson isn't 25. I know Calais isn't 30. I know Josh Sweat's over-under for sacks is 6.5. I don't care. It's not about how many superstars you have on a team. The Cardinals have done that. For years, they did it. Fitz, Patrick Peterson, Aeneas Williams, Adrian Wilson, Calais Campbell when he was here, Teron Matthew, and the rest of the roster was garbage. It doesn't work. It's the floor, not the ceiling. It's the floor of talent that gets you in the building. And how high the ceiling is for that collective unit is how you get to the next level. So when I see comments like this, and again, completely substantiated in decades of fact, why I see 2025 being different and why I've pinned it as the year that all of it was going to come together or things would change when everybody wanted it to be last year, you're rushing the process. This is the year. 3 full cycles. That's what it took to undo all of the poop that was going on before Monti Ossenfort took over. I felt like if I said poop with emphasis, it would hit like a swear word, but I can say it and not, have to, tell on myself that I said a swear word. The Arizona Cardinals have earned it. This is my closing argument for this. Again, 100% again, Chris Himes' Twitter. It is a very rational and backed with all of the facts and all of the land thought process that it's easy in the beginning to say, oh, things are going to be different this year because no games have been played. Every team has a chance to go 16-0 and be the bad news Bears. They didn't go 16-0, but you know what I mean. Walter Matthau. They have that chance to be that team of destiny for a year. It's, it seeps into people's cerebellum like mine. It's like, oh, Cardinals can go 16-0. Oh, Diamondbacks can go 162-0. We can never, it's completely irrational. Okay. But it's like, hey, it's a brand new season. Anything can happen. Giving Monti Ossenfort and his constituents credit here for what's happened over the compounded interest of the last 3 full offseason cycles. That's why they deserve the positivity going into this season. We haven't seen Will Johnson play. We haven't seen Walter Nolan play. We haven't seen Darius Robinson play more than a few. All of these things, it doesn't really matter. What Monti Ossenfort has done is built the best collection of talent on paper the Cardinals have seen in the last 25 years plus. Not how many all-pros are on this team. The best collection of talent, 1 to 22, that the first team starters are going to be come week 1. And I'm not sure it's particularly close. So when people say, oh, it's the same old Cardinals, that's the lazy. That's the lazy. Could it end up there? Sure, we have no idea what the hell is going to happen. But that's the lazy. Because Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon, Nick Rowlis, and Drew Petzing in some capacity deserve the confidence that's behind this team for what they've done since they've taken over. I'm sorry it didn't happen in year 1 when Kyler Murray tore his ACL and they had Josh Dobbs for less than 2 weeks playing quarterback. I'm sorry it didn't happen last year, even though they were leading the division at some point after going through that multi-game win streak going into their bye week and it fell off. This is the year where either it's going to work or it won't. All we know at this point is this is the best collection of talent Kyler Murray's had in his NFL career and the Arizona Cardinals have had on paper in the last 25 years plus. So that in and of itself should breed and yield confidence going into 2025 without it being looked at as hubris. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What are we doing with the preseason? I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to tell you what happens, and then we're going to go to break, and then we're going to come back and explain it. Sit the offense, play the defense. Boop. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time. I mean, listen, I've got history with Game Time, man. I bought my stepdad is a 49ers fan, lives in Northern California. We went to a 49ers Seahawks game, got it on the Game Time app, looked around, saw all of the seat views. It's like, hey, what about here? Hey, what about here? Oh, there's a price point there. Oh, but that's a better vantage point. And you got the tickets. I've got the history with Game Time. And have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a baseball game, for example? Maybe it's maybe it's a game day and you realize you want to be in the stands and not just necessarily watch it on TV. And we could talk about this with football season right around the corner too. And that's exactly where Game Time comes in. With money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, even a bigger group to come with you. And Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. That's what we want in this world. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch or kickoff, whatever it may be. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, as I mentioned before, and the lowest price guarantee that takes the guesswork out of buying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. So listen, I understand the hesitancy to jump when it comes to the Cardinals for 2025. I get it. It is rational. I get it. And all of the dominoes are stacked up. All of the things are in line to actually have a smooth, whatever you call it, domino when it goes. And people do the weird, formations and stuff, and it just goes for an hour. It takes like 6 years to set up and 15 seconds to stop. Like everything is set up properly. And with much more stability, at least on paper, that could yield with a higher percentage the best result possible, which is 10 plus wins making the playoffs, whatever it is, and you go from there. But we still got to see, and I understand the stance that it's like, well, you got to see it first. I know, but come on. Sit the offense, play the defense. That's going to be my mantra for the preseason. Sit the offense, Kyler, James Conner, Marv, Trey, Yalta Furl, Paris Johnson Jr., Beach, Jonah Williams. Sit them all. Sit them all. I shifted this. How I used to think years ago. It's like, you got to get the reps, man. Week one, like everybody's preseason is week one. That's kind of what it's turned into. And I don't care. Like, I don't. Josh Allen plays. Patrick Mahomes plays. I don't care. I don't care at all. Well, they've won. I don't care. There's no direct correlation. Like it's cool. Good for you, bro. I don't, and that's analysis. Good for you, bro. I don't care. This is a Cardinals thing, and the Cardinals can't afford injuries. No team can afford injuries, but there is zero upside to having Marv run routes. That's what camp's for. That's what off the field stuff is for. That's what extra time is for, not fake games in August. And they didn't really draft any. I mean, all of their top draft picks were defensive players, so that's why it's a little bit different on defense. When it comes to defense, this is the trickier part. And I'm not glossing over the offense. Like, I could understand Kyler playing in the third preseason game. Like, what's he going to do? Throw one pass and hand the ball off twice to a running back? It's like, is that really worth it? Does it really matter? It's the same offense. Get the reps in camp. It's like, who cares? I think maybe some of this, and this is slippery. Okay. This is a slippery way to think. I don't normally think like this. I don't know who I am anymore when I talk about the preseason. They're playing a relegated college football team in week 1. So, that may have something to do with it. Like if they were playing Kansas City in week 1, something like that, yeah, maybe you want to get the juices flowing in the final preseason game. But I think that has something to do with it. It's irrational for sure because any NFL team we've seen the Cardinals beat teams they had no business beating. So I get the other side going to NOLA on the road. That raucous crowd, regardless of who's a quarterback, whether it's me or somebody else, I think they still called me and they want me to come walk on to a tryout because they don't know who their quarterback's going to be. I think it bleeds into it. Now, with defense, okay, this is a little, more complicated. It's not right, but there's more moving parts here. Walter Nolan's probably out, so that's an easy conversation. No Calais, no Josh Sweat, no Dalvin, like none of these guys. I don't care that they're new in the scheme. I don't care. Baron Browning's not going to play. If BJ Ojulari's off the pup and you want to give him some run, like if he's ready to go, he Bilal Nichols and Walter Nolan are on the pup list, the preseason pup list, the before week 1 depth chart pup list. You can take off anytime. So it's not like they're going to miss 6 games. That's the next iteration of that list. If he's healthy, I can see BJ Ojulari getting some snaps in. Darius Robinson, that's a tricky one for me. I think he should play. Maybe a quarter here, a quarter there, something like that. Yeah, I think he should play. I mean, Zaven Collins played 2 almost full cycles of preseason games in his first 2 years. I'm not comparing the two directly, but I think Darius Robinson should get some run. Max Melton, I think, should get some run. Garrett Williams not touching the field. Buda not touching the field. Jalen Thompson not touching the field. Dadrian Taylor-Demerson should be the starting either strong or free safety, depending on if they want to put Keaton Crawford in over the top with him. Will Johnson, Darius Robinson, Cody Simon, Akeem Davis-Gaither, maybe. Owen Papo, those guys should be playing because we don't really know what the depth chart's going to look like on defense. And it's a good thing. There's a lot of options. There's many options. Well, like Darius Robinson needs to run. BJ Ojulari needs to run. He's been out for almost 2 full years. Max Melton needs to run. You'll see Elijah Jones, Macy Starling Thomas. Like, there's so many questions surrounding what the official first week depth chart is going to be. And that's obviously not written in blood, okay? Like, it can change week to week, obviously. But, like, the questions of, is Will Johnson the outside CB1? Like, you can see in camp very quickly when 2s are against the quote-unquote 2s on defense, who's an NFL player ready right away and who's not. Like, I always go back to the Rondale Moore one. So I think it was his second year. And he got a ball. I don't even remember who it was from. It doesn't really matter. He caught the ball and just made everybody look silly. All the backups on defense. Like, oh, that's an NFL player. And that isn't. Like, it's not all the time, but there are clear indications where it's like, yeah, okay, that's the differentiator. That's the talent jump. So we need to see that from Will Johnson. Like, I think Will Johnson should play, obviously barring his health. But I would kind of use him as I'd like to see less reps from him than normal. Like, I know that with cornerback specifically, it's the toughest position to play in football, in my opinion. Luckily for him, as I am a broken record at this point, he wasn't drafted to save the position group. The pass rush is exponentially better on paper than it was last year. So it's going to be an easier, yet still extremely difficult situation for a young CB to jump into. So, in summation, offense, sit them all. Trey Benson can start. Give Amari DeMarcado some run. But I'm sitting everybody. Get Xavier Weaver his wide receiver 1 touches during the preseason. See what he's got. No Trey, no Marv, no Kyler, no James Conner. The majority of the offensive line guys, no. Pack it in. It's the same offense. Pack it in. Defense, none of the vets, even though it's a new system. None of the vets. But The tricky part is Bijou Ojulari and Darius Robinson. If Bijou Ojulari's 100% healthy, ready to rip after his ACL tear last camp, play him. He needs to get his legs back. Fits for a series or two, should see the field. Darius Robinson, tricky one. I think he should see the field. Walter Nolan, we're not going to see, I would assume. Will Johnson, like a series or two, a quarter in one game, a couple series in 2 games, just to get the blood pumping at the NFL level. But all in all, and I don't know when this happened, but all in all, I'm out on the preseason. I'm out. I used to see the immense value in it. And unless it's for dudes who are looking to make the roster or looking to, leapfrog somebody from 4th to 3rd on the depth chart, I don't see the value in the guys you drafted to be starters. I don't see an interception from Will Johnson and housing it in the preseason having any real indicator on what it's going to be like for the first 2 months of his NFL campaign, of his NFL career. I just don't. I don't know when it shifted, but that's where I'm at. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Kelvin Beachum is an absolute king. I'll discuss why next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. Fantasy football's back, man. We're so close. Group chats, draft boards. Buckle up, man. Like, we don't know who the busts are going to be. We don't know who the breakouts are going to be. We do know that everybody's overreacting to everything in camp, which is awesome. This year, I just had a group chat, in a group chat with my buddies I've been doing a league with for 20 years on Yahoo. Dude, so if you're a first-timer or you're making your millionth league, Yahoo is where it's at. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. And it all begins on August 4th, about 10 days away. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet. Dude, I'm so excited. Like, Yahoo, the fantasy for Cardinals fantasy football players, this defense it's going to be fascinating to see where the defense ranks. It's going to be fascinating to see where Marv goes, where Trey goes, where Kyler goes. James Conner, like, is there going to be a wild card on offense? It's going to be a late round flyer being taken that actually, plays well above their ADP. It's going to be fascinating. But I'll tell you what, the Arizona Cardinals team is going to be a fantasy darling for so many different reasons this year. So Kelvin Beachum is one of the best moves. Signing him is one of the best moves that Steve Keim ever made. Okay. Not just because of the financials, but also because of the kind of person he is. And all he's done since coming over and signing with the Arizona Cardinals is be the stopgap guy for anything he was asked to do, whether it be play left tackle, right tackle, whatever it is. And he was in the locker room yesterday with reporters, and he was talking about how it's his role to serve Paris Johnson Jr. and do whatever Paris Johnson Jr. needs for him to get better. And while this doesn't surprise me, okay, Kelvin Beachum has been great for the locker room. Like, there's a reason why he's still here. It called out Kyler. It was done with respect, and Kyler responded. Okay, like, not like he responded on the field. These are the type of leaders the Arizona Cardinals have. It's not just him. It's Budda Baker. It's James Conner. It's Calais Campbell now, among others. This is what the true strong foundation of a capable and functional organization looks like. It's a collection of young talent, average to above average veterans, and lights out leadership. So when you hear something like this from Beach, this is the microcosm of everything I've been screaming for the last 10 years. You need all of it to win. You need all of it. And the leadership part, the Cardinals didn't have for a few years outside of Budda Baker. You know, Patrick Peterson was a quote-unquote leader in name only. He wasn't. Now, you've got one of those dudes in almost every position group. So when Kelvin Beachum says something like this, where he's like, whatever Paris needs, I'm paraphrasing. There's your pun for the day. Must be Friday. That's the microcosm of everything you hope the vets will be like for this team. Because not every veteran's like that. It's a dog-eat-dog league, man. But if you have selfless guys like that in any position, really, but on the offensive line for a dude 1-6 overall who's got the ceiling of being a perennial Pro Bowl left tackle, and you've got a 14-year veteran in Kelvin Beachum doing that for him, being selfless. I call it the Andy Dalton effect. Like, and it's not just Andy Dalton, but like, it's easier to kind of notate it with quarterbacks. Like Andy Dalton's happy being a backup and coaching up the young dudes. Wherever he goes, he's cool. It's like, oh, you need me to play? Sweet. I'll put my helmet on. But he loves it. He loves being in Carolina Price. So, like, just hearing that little clip from the locker room yesterday, it's chicken soup for the soul in the sense that this Cardinals roster is good. They've got the right leadership on and off the field. And that just adds to why me and so many others are confident about the Cardinals going into 2025. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you Monday.